What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dark Avenger Live. Today, we have a couple of news pieces, and then comic books are dying. Didn't you know? Haven't you heard? That's going to be our topic for tonight because I heard this so much, and I need to address it. There's no way around it. We've got to talk about the pink elephant in the room, or whatever you want to call it. I have a cough drop in my mouth. Apologies, a bit under the weather, but we're going to get through this live show. We're going to start off with news, and everything I have for news, ironically enough, is Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. So, two new books are coming out next year. They've been announced. Rogue the Savage Land, which is dropping in January, as well as Magic, who's also dropping in January. So Magic and Rogue are getting their own solo series. Well, I'll be damned. Okay. I don't know how we're going to deal with all these solo series. I mean, we've already got Storm. Wolverine's always had his solo series. You've got now Sentinel's getting a mini. I don't know. I'm hoping that Rogue and Magic, they're more mini series than ongoings, because Dazzler also has a mini series. So I'm hoping that these are all mini series that are being talked about and not ongoings, but that's going to be too many X books. I mean, Marvel sees that they're doing very well with X-Men, or they're trying to do very well with X-Men right now. We don't need a overabundance of X-Men. That's my opinion. And then also coming out in January is going to be a book called that Spotlight Sidekicks. Let's see, what do we got here? It's going to have heroes like Captain America sidekick, Captain Marvel sidekick, Ghost Rider sidekick. It's called Change the World, New Heroes Assemble, January 2025. That's what they're calling it. So interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see where the sidekick stuff goes. And then we've got a new event. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. Venom War is going to be ending soon. We need an event within the next couple of months. This is Marvel. So Time Slide issue number 1 is going to be dropping at the end of 2024. Issue number 1, I believe, is going to be slated for December, it looks like. At least that's what I'm reading here. And it's going to have Bishop. It's going to have Cable. We got Bishop and Cable on the cover. And it's all going to involve the Marvel Universe once again. Marvel Universe ended this year. Oh, it's a special one-shot. I'm sorry. It's a special one-shot that's coming out in December called Time Slide. And it's going to be a year-end event. An X-Men from the future arrives to the present. Dire warning, one of mutant kind's most hyper-advanced foes is eating his way through time, trying to stop the X gene from ever evolving. So this is going to be an X-Men. Well, we should have known with Cable. So it's an X-Men heavy book. And these annual mega issues have become President favorite of mine. I'm glad that they've been a favorite of Tom Brevoort's, because those are the ones I've been skipping from Marvel, because the annuals always have their own little story going on. It has nothing to do with nothing, so I usually just say whatever. So I'm glad it's been doing well for Tom Brevoort. But apparently when it comes to Marvel, hello, Briley, I see you lurking on your other account. When it comes to Marvel, it's like, we love it. You don't represent all the fans, because there was an article recently about, and I know this is going to springboard Tevia if Tevia's around, but there was an article talking about Spider-Man and how one person was really upset that they did the whole Mary Jane thing with the latest run of Amazing Spider-Man. And the guy wrote him back and said, I'm sad that it didn't work for you, but it worked for us. And I don't think you represent all the fans. It's just, every single fan on the internet has been saying this for years now, since Brand New Day or One More Day or whatever. We've been talking about hating it. So I don't know what fantasy world this guy from Marvel is coming from. And I'm glad it's working for him. It's not really working for everybody else. Look at the sales. The sales will tell you more than you need to know. All right. So we got the news out of the way. I kind of sped through it. This is going to be a short live show. Again, I'm not really feeling too well, but we're going to do this. So I've been hearing this. Shoot, I've been hearing this since maybe 5 years into doing YouTube, and the saying is the comic book. I'm going to take this out for this one because I want to make sure that I'm speaking very clearly. I'm going to actually take a sip of the old, not sponsored, but would love to be. Okay, so let's go down the rabbit hole together, shall we? Comic books are ending, don't you know? They're dying, and everyone's talking about this. And for the past 5 years into reviewing comics, I'd say around when the New 52 started in DC Comics, I've been seeing videos after videos, people after people. Comic books are dying. The comic book industry is going to be gone within the next year. In the beginning, it was all like, oh, the comic world, the comic industry is going to fall apart in a year, 2 years, 3 years tops. And mind you, this was about 6 years ago. So this prediction of comic books are dying has been going on now for almost a decade. I've been on YouTube for more than a decade. This has been going on for for literally a decade, where people are throwing out the prediction of comic books are over. Comic books are dying. Look at the new DC comic tag. It's called All In, like when you're gambling. The people who are, thinking critically are like, oh, the whole title is about gambling and they're putting all of their work in because this is their last gamble. So they called it All In. No, they didn't. They even said in the press conference, it's all in because they're getting all their artists and bringing them in. Although, again, very easy, once again, to twist the narrative. Whatever you want to believe, you're welcome to believe. Again, I'm not here to tell anybody they're right or wrong. But in one case, I will say comic books are not dying. They're not. I mean, as much as everyone wants to sit there and talk about the sales charts and how sales are going down, let me tell you, even my son, digital is becoming far more on demand than physical, which sucks because I grew up in an era where I like my physical books. I have my physical books. I still buy my physical books every week. I don't do digital. I really don't like digital. I don't like that there are certain series on Marvel and DC that you can only read digitally. I don't read them because I don't do it. I don't waste the money, especially because a $5.99 comic book physical is a $5.99 comic book digital. They don't even do a half off or anything, which you're paying for the paper. So why am I paying the exact same price for a digital book? I'm not getting any paper. There's no physical anything. I'm literally getting it on my computer. I ain't paying $5 for a book I can get physically for $5. It's ridiculous. But the predictions have been getting a little bit silly, guys. It's been getting just a little bit silly because you've got people on the internet now that are like, within the next 10 years, comic books are going to be gone. Comic books are going to die or whatever. It's easy to sit in front of a camera every decade and go, this is the decade it's going to happen. And then 10 years later, it doesn't happen. Well, this is the decade it's going to happen. And then whenever it does, if it ever does, and that's a big if, but let's pretend in a twisted world that it does happen. Whoever these people are that are like, it's going to happen within the next 10, 20 years. Yeah, they literally, somebody actually said, but within the next 10 and 20 years, they're throwing a big number out there. So this way they can reach far and they don't have to worry about doing a video for a while. So this way, if within the next 20 years it does happen, they go, I said within the next 20 years, comic books were going to be gone. And here it is. Yeah, how many videos did you do? How many decades worth of videos did you do before you finally were proven right? And I still cannot fathom at all how that's ever going to happen. But I mean, if it does by some ungodly reason happen, okay. If you would have made one video and said it's going to happen within the next 2 years and it happened within the next 2 years, sure. But you're sitting there making doom and gloom videos. And again, YouTube is a wonderful thing and a horrible thing at the same time. Wonderful because you have people that actually love talking about comic books, love showing off their books, hauls. Comic Den, I fell in love with Comic Den. They put up a video a day or sometimes they'll skip a day, but it's all about going to the comic shop, doing like the random garage sales. They have their own kind of like home store. They do once a month where they sell their comic books that they pick up. They go to conventions and everything. And it is a freaking blessing that I found that channel, because number one, I found books, or I learned about variants I did not even know existed and found thanks to them. And just, it again reminds me how much I love collecting comic books. The feeling, unfortunately, I can't be in a comic shop every week yet. So until I can, watching somebody else in the comic shop sifting through all the new books and picking out all the different variants and stuff like that, it gives me that little like extra spark that makes me really happy that I collect and read comic books. So channels like that are great, but then you've got the other side, the side that's saying it's over, pointing out and shaking a finger and saying how horrible everything is, whether it be the comic books, the creators, push this, push that, push the other thing, push you out a window. I swear to God. But I mean, seriously, there are literal channels that make very good money. And I say that because they've got A, AdSense, and then B, on top of that, they've got thousands of viewers, because people love hearing about all the negative stuff going on. And then there are also people that share that viewpoint, which again, I say I am in the middle. I believe there is a lot of improvement that can be done in the comic book industry. However, I don't think everything is terrible. Sorry, don't think it's all bad. There is a lot of good and there is a bit of bad. It is the way it is. I am in the middle. But anyway, you've got those people getting thousands of views. New readers coming in, or new people interested in comic books, find these channels first, and it's like, forget it. You've lost however many people who are interested in looking at comic books find this channel first. They are lost before we even gain them as a part of a comic community, because like, wow, this is a lot of drama, this is a lot of bullshit, I don't want to deal with it. I know if I was new, I wouldn't. I come into something and I see there's a bunch of drama, I'm like, peace out, y'all, I'm out, I'm done, I'm gone, I don't need it. You know, I'd rather be somewhere where it's nice, calm, cool. I don't have to deal with drama. I don't have to deal with people shouting stuff in my ears. I just want to be comfortable. And to be honest, the comic community is comfortable. We are nice people. We do our videos. We like to show off what we're buying, collections, sales, things that are going on, news, reviews. I mean, we're doing this because we love it and we like sharing our thoughts and whatnot. The comic community is really, truly a wonderful place to be. I am very happy to be a part of it. But, you know, you get those channels that talk like that, and it's like you don't get the new traction that we need. And again, I'm not saying it's a humongous impact on sales. It might not be. But I mean, that's that 1 or 2 or 3 or 20 or 30 other people that might have been interested in picking up a comic, now lost because they don't want to deal with the bullshit that they're hearing other people say. However, if we find people who find Comic Den first, or this channel, or any other channel where we talk good about comic books. I mean, you got Mike's channel, you got Brand's channel, you know, Comic Corner 2.0, Only Good Comics. You got stuff like that, Comic Uno. We talk positive about comics. We like to talk about how much we love, you know, we got our haul. Well, I know Mike and I do our haul videos. I know Brant and Cap do their reviews. Again, we like to share all the really awesome stuff going on in the comic book industry and in the comic book community. And I feel like that brings more people in, because it's like, oh, this looks interesting. I'm very curious. What is this? What is going on here? This person's very excited about this event or excited about this book. Why are they excited about this book? Should I buy this book? Should I give it a shot? And then they go into the shop, they pick up some back issues, and either they say yes, and I'm so glad, thank you, and they go back to the YouTube channel and say, thank you, I've gotten so many messages thanking me for the recommendations for books that I've recommended in the past, because a lot of people didn't even know how great the book was till they checked it out after hearing my review or after hearing me talk about it. Turtles, especially, I know I have brought a lot of people on board with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles through the years. I praise that book from issue 1 all the way through to issue 100, and even a little bit beyond that, because then the review stopped for a while. I praise the Turtle books because IDW did Turtles very well. And this second volume, so far it's starting off a little different, interesting. I know that, especially with Kevin Eastman watching, you got Tom Waltz around, it's going to be good. It is. It just is. I mean, IDW does certain books really good. Star Trek, TMNT, and a few other books, they do deliver every single month. But anyway, comic books are not dying. It's very easy to throw out a 60-minute video talking about comic shops going out of business. That's because the physical medium is dying. The digital medium is still booming. I don't know why somebody would pay $7 for a book digitally instead of a physical book, $7.99 for a book physically. I mean, if the book for $7.99 physically was only about $5 or $4 digitally, then sure. But for some reason, people feel I want to pay the $8 for digital. Digital sales are doing pretty damn good. And Marvel, I don't know if DC does. I don't look at the subscription services for digital stuff. But I know Marvel has Unlimited, and that's doing pretty well. I'm not sure what DC Comics is doing. They had it when you bought the old network they had. They don't have it anymore. It's back with HBO Max now. But anyway, comic books are not dying as much as the times are evolving and people's interests are evolving. Does that mean that it's doom and gloom for the comic world? No. I've watched so many videos. Go to a comic convention and tell me all those hundreds of thousands of people think comic books are dead. Now, not every single one of them is a comic book collector. They do go to conventions just to go to conventions. They are cosplayers. But I'm telling you, those people are there for the comics. Comic books are not dying. People just want to sell you the false idea that everything in the comic world right now is shitty, bad, that the companies hate you and hate your opinion and you shouldn't give them money. Well, here's the thing though, and I just gave myself a really interesting, I just said something that sparked something in me. So the same person that's saying that the comic book industry is dying, right, is the same person that in another video says, don't give this company your money. So you're upset and complaining that the comic book industry is dying, yet in a video not 3 days ago, you're telling people, don't waste your money on this company's books. I mean, the logic is here. I'm just uncovering it all for all of you. So the people that are complaining that the comic industry is dying are the people that are telling you not to buy books from the comic book industry or the mainstream comic book companies as well. Of course, doom and gloom begets doom and gloom. It's not all bad. I don't know how many videos I have to make of this before finally people, well, again, I'm not a huge YouTuber. I'm a smaller channel hoping to build up. By the way, pausing that topic, thank you all so much. 2,400 subscribers. When we get to 3,000, I am actually working on doing a type of giveaway. So if we do reach 3,000, there will be a giveaway. I've got some really cool stuff I'm going to be grabbing for the giveaway. We'll have a bit of a celebration for sure. Won't be as big as when we get to our next 100th comic review, but it will be half the size for sure. And I am working on something for Halloween too, by the way. Halloween month's going to be fun. But yes, so when we reach 3,000 reviewers, when we reach 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, I will be doing a giveaway. There'll be some really cool comic books that I will be giving away. I've got some comments. Let's see. First on YouTube, SM. What's up, my man? They only say it's bad when they can't speculate on it and take advantage of people. Yes. The medium will always endure because it means so much to so many. Exactly. This right here is what I'm saying. No matter what, it's going to survive. By the way, hi, Tiz. I see you. Hello. What's up, Tevia? But anyway, this comment says it all right here. No matter what, the comic book industry is going to stay around because there are people like myself, like SM, like a few people, not Tevya. I know Tevya gets a lot of his books a different way, but like, no, I'm just kidding, Tevya, you're fine. But people that follow these, we're talking about comic books dying, Tevya. There are a lot of people who buy comic books religiously each and every week. Even when I wasn't doing my reviews, I was buying comics. Even when I disappeared off YouTube for those couple of years, I was still buying comics. Buyers are never going. The fans have been pushed away from a lot of series, Amazing Spider-Man definitely being one of them. And a lot of people are yelling and screaming about that. I've already talked about that earlier. It's true. I agree. I don't know where this person who's running the Spider-Man comics thinks everything's going great. I mean, in his own little fantasy world, or maybe he has to say it's going good because it's his job. It's not. And everybody hates it. And eventually, see, here's the thing. That person that wrote that article that everybody's talking about, where the creator or the head guy said he's sorry that Spider-Man didn't go well for that person, and he should, he doesn't represent the comic community, right? There's a way to actually remedy that problem. There's a way, right? We live in a day and age where the internet is powerful. All the person has to do, that person that wrote that article, that shared what the creators or what the VP or whatever said about Spider-Man, there's a way to prove that person wrong. Take 2 seconds. You find a website, any website that does polls, and you put out the question, is Amazing Spider-Man good? Or are you collecting and reading Amazing Spider-Man? Yes and no. And then you leave a comment section. You share that in every community that is in the comic where I'll vote. I have no problem voting. Might even leave a comment. You share that everywhere. You prove through the voting. You have 1 million, 2 million people that vote no. They're not reading Amazing Spider-Man versus a couple of 100,000 people that are. That's proof. And again, that's not they're buying it. More along the lines of, you'd have to formulate a question of, do you like the direction of Amazing Spider-Man, or something to that effect? Then you might only get a couple of thousand people that say yes, because of course there are some people that like it. I'm telling you, there are some people that like it. Don't get upset. I know a few of you are going to get upset. Don't get upset. Some people are enjoying Spider-Man right now. It's okay. But the majority, and I'm talking, if you bring it to the right communities, you will have millions of people that say no. And then you take that poll and you send it to that guy. That's your proof. And I mean, they'll say, oh, well, you had like bots do the voting, blah, blah, blah. Because they're not going to do the voting on their own official website, because they know that's the answer they're going to get. But the fact is, you went out of your way, you made the voting, and that's your proof. You have your proof right there. And if they're not willing to believe that, then I mean, hey, first of all, you're not going to get them to believe anything beyond the tip of their nose anyway. But I mean, if you want to find a way to prove you're right, do an online poll. Easy. I've watched so many people do this online, and it works. It really does. All right. Tevya asked a question. Why are people saying comics are dying again? Because, frankly, that mindset still makes no sense to me. As I was saying, exactly. Well, that's the joke here, isn't it? The joke is, and I said this, Tevya, and I know you're a part of certain channels, and I'm going to say it again, because I'm glad you didn't find them first. They're newer to mine, anyway. Those same people that are saying the comic industry is dying are the same people that are telling you not to buy the books. So they're crying in one hand that the comic industry is dying, but they're yelling in the other hand, don't buy the books. Don't support the company. Well, if you're telling people not to support the company, then of course it's going to die. But again, I don't see the comic industry dying. There are too many diehard fans that are willing to weather the storm. I weathered the New 52 for fucking 5 years. That is the only F-bomb I'm dropping on this live show. But I stomached it for 5 years. And that was the worst 5 years, I think, in Superman's history ever, in my opinion. Wow. That was a train wreck of garbage. Batman, however, I mean, it did get me into Batman. I won't lie. I fell in love with Batman during the New 52. So it did do a plus with the minus. But yes, the comic industry, as you just said, actually, we went through a problem in the 90s. There was a crash. Guess what happened? We survived. We're not even in a crash and we're surviving. You understand me? The comic industry will not die. I have over 200 comic books, and to be honest, I love comics better than books. Exactly. Same here. Same here. Exactly. But no, we're not dying, people. Comic books are fine. The industry will not die. And let these people continue to talk, because they're going to keep saying, it's going to be 20 years, watch. And then watch. We're in 2024, right? I had somebody preaching to me back in 2010. In 1 year, Marvel was going to shut their doors. 1 year. Must be the longest 1 year of my life. Because, damn. Marvel's going, and they've got 77 books plus a month that comes out. A month. Damn. They must be really paying those loan sharks. But anyway, people are going to continue to say it. And then 20 years down the road, again, those same people, 20 years older, probably gray and older. I don't know how old. Let's pretend they're older, period. They're going to do the same story in another 20 years. Watch. I was wrong the first time, but I'm going to be right the second time. 20 years pass again. Now they're definitely older people. They're going to do the same problem. And you know what? They're going to die another 50, 60 years down the road. And guess what? While we're all in the afterlife, all of us here, all of us who are alive right now, when we're in the afterlife, and the people in the year 2224, let's say 2224, 2224, they're still going to have comic books. The comic industry is going to go well beyond all of our time. And guess what? There'll be a new generation of people spouting the same bullshit that they've been spouting since now. It's never going to end. And if by some twist of fate it ever does, all through you see, I told you. It's like, yeah, hey, run it back to me again. How many videos did you make? How many years have we been talking about this? How many years did you say it was going to die before it died? And it probably won't die the way they're saying either. There'll probably be like some type of a ownership thing going on, and books will still sell, just not the same way. Like, come on. It'll be the year 3000, and we'll still have comic books. People want to whine. People want to cry. People want to get the view. They want your views. You got to understand YouTube. You know, to get somewhere on YouTube, you need views, you need hits, and you need traction. And the channels that are doing this are the channels that are feeding you that the world is ending. This company's bad. That company's bad. Don't give them money. However, everything is dying. Everything's dying because you're telling everyone to not buy anything. I'm just glad that there are channels like the ones I mentioned, like this one, where we talk about the positive things that are going on in the and we're in the real world. Some people don't like to live in the real world. We're living in the real world. Comic books ain't going nowhere. The government sucks. We all know it. It's been that way forever. Politics are a horrible thing, and we live in a world that is full of hate and love. And the positivity that comes out of comic books helps kind of stifle that a bit. And that pisses certain people off, I'm sure. But anyway, things don't change. The comic industry may be going down, maybe at a low, but eventually it'll go back up. It always does. It always will. You could sit there and make a video after a video after a video talking about how shitty a book is, how shitty a company is, how, oh, we're getting pushed agenda again, oh, we're getting pushed this again, oh, I'm getting pushed out a window again, and then talk about how the comic industry is going to die, show numbers, figures, comic shops going out, this, that, the other thing. Mickey Mouse is being sued for whatever. Warner Brothers is going to get bought by Disney, and then Disney's going to get sued. Say whatever you want. Whatever you want. until I see on paper, legal paper from the company, DC, Marvel, IDW might be. We don't know about IDW. IDW's coasting. But until I see on paper from official comic shops, comic companies, that they're going out of business, this is the last run of books. This is the last previews, the last free book that shows all the books that are coming out. We're ending all the series, and then we're closing shop. I refuse to ever believe the comic industry is dying. The companies that own the comic book shops, right, have millions upon millions of dollars. Disney's being sued for billions and still is running. Still has people coming to the attractions, has people watching the movies, watching Disney Plus, buying the comics, not going anywhere. Do you understand? It is so cheap for Disney and Warner Brothers to put a couple of $1,000s, maybe even a couple of $100,000 a month into a little pocket called Marvel Comics and DC Comics and say, here's your pay artists, here's your pay writers, here's your pay editors, and whoever else works in the company, because it's a spit in the bucket. Now, and that was a good point, put this out there. Physical medium, I agree, Tiz. Physical medium, at some point, we might lose. Possibility. We're going into a digital era where physical medium is slowly disappearing, bits and bits at a time. Maybe by the year 2022, 24, maybe then everything will be digital. Maybe. Again, though, the comic industry is still going to be going. Still going to be making books. Still going to be making stories. And guess what? They will still make physical mediums in the form of trade paperbacks. I don't see all physical medium ever disappearing. The worst case scenario will be all digital. And that is the absolute worst. What we got here? People like to use the fear-mongering. Yep. Try to force them to buy things they don't like. It'll die if you don't. Yep, exactly. You know, the funny thing is, a few of the people that I see talking about how horrible the comic industry is and how it's dying, in the same video like to talk about the Kickstarter for their comic book or for their project or for their books. It's like, hey, this is all shit. But before we continue, let me tell you about my Kickstarter for my new book, Shitty Poo Poo. And it's on Kickstarter. And if you give all this money, you get the Shitty Poo Poo physical, you get the little trading cards and everything else, and support my book. But the comic industry is dying. Support my Kickstarter, but don't, it's going away. It's going away, but definitely remember, for $5, you get a physical copy of my book, but this is over. It's all going down the tubes. No more. Comic industry's gone, but buy my book. My book somehow magically will survive through the magic of Kickstarter while every other comic book industry thing dies. Listen, as a person who made a comic book, the one thing I wouldn't do is promote my comic in the same video where I say comic books are dying. But that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. I am crazy, but maybe I'm insane. But anyway, they're not going nowhere. Digital comics would be a lot better, to be honest. It would increase sales. Here's the thing, Tiz, and this is what I said. A $7 physical book digitally should be at the very least $2 cheaper, because you're paying for the artist, the writer, the edits, everything, and then you're paying for the paper. If you're going to get a digital book, the same book, it should not be the same price. A digital comic should be cheaper than a physical comic because you're not paying for the paper anymore. So at the very least, $2, a $7 book reduced down by $2 is still $5 plus tax. And it's a digital book. I guarantee you sales would go up. Guarantee you sales would go up if digital books were cheaper. That would end the physical era faster. Ripperverse is an example of one of those people who makes his own book, but also said comic book industry is dying. Well, we're not going to name names. Exactly. I'd pay $5. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not naming names, Tevya. I kind of regret showing that. I didn't realize until I clicked it. I don't want to say names because, again, this is people's livelihoods also. I don't want to step on other people's Kickstarters or whatever. I hope all of their Kickstarters succeed. I don't agree with the morals that they share about the comic industry dying. And I do agree with some of the videos that Rippaverse put out. Not all of them, but one or two of them made sense. So, just since I already showed that name, I do agree that he did put out a lot of videos that made me even think a little bit and go, yes. But his universe, congratulations to him. He's got $1 million independent line going, and he's doing amazing with it. God bless him, and congrats to him. But no, if he said the comic industry is dying, Tevya, I didn't see that video. I didn't know he made that video, but it's not. More limited, yes. Limited editions, 100. I mean, half of the stuff on this wall is limited edition or signed. So, yes, limited edition for sure. And no worries, Tevya, it happens. But it's not dying. Stop making the videos that the world is ending and the comic industry is dying. We are all going to die before the comic industry dies. Ain't gonna happen. Won't happen. I remember you mentioned about the Star Trek comic Tiz. Yes, I remember that. So with that being said, guys, go to your local comic shops if you have any. Check out some books, pick up some books. If you can't go to a local comic shop, midtowncomics.com, dcbs.com. Shoot, there are comic shops online everywhere. That's how I found a book that I'm going to be doing a reveal, and I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of an object that I'm going to be putting it in. But go to your shops. Go enjoy the books. Don't sit there and let a bunch of people who are saying it's all shit, it's all bad, don't read it. Don't let them ruin your time. It's good. I promise you, there are good books out there. Independence, Marvel, DC, all of it. It's all good. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. It's not all good, but there is good. There's bad, there's good. It's been like that forever. Some shitty stories, some okay stories, some good stories. Now, one thing I will say is just be careful of the Marvel Comics trap. They start one event, and as it ends, another event begins. Pick and choose your Marvel events. Even if it says it's world-changing, it really isn't. Trust me. So I did Blood Hunt, went into Venom War, said I love Venom. I love the covers. It looked cool. Now there's going to be something else coming in December that I might not do. And then now, again, I said I'd be buying at least the first issue of every X-Men run. Now we're getting too many X-Men books. Marvel has a problem of putting out too much and not knowing when to stop. It's like that person that's at an all-you-can-eat buffet, and because it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, they think they should eat more than they normally do. So they go and they grab an extra 2 or 3 plates worth of food. So they see X-Men. It's starting up again. People are liking it. Let's make more. Let's make more solo series. Do more. And then it doesn't work out. And then they regret a lot of the series. Venom, yes, Chiz. Venom War is going on right now. Very good. Brock and his son are fighting for who's owning the Venom suit. And then at the end of it, there's going to be a new Venom that pops out with a gold instead of white Venom symbol. So it ain't ending. If the comic book industry was dying, there wouldn't be events. Marvel would not be putting out 77 freaking books. DC Comics would be hella limited on their Batman. And now we're getting the Absolute Universe as well. We wouldn't be getting the Absolute Universe if DC was in trouble. Not to mention also, I don't want to hear no bullshit from anybody. Oh, all in is like when you're betting, you go all in. No, it's all in as in all inclusive. They're bringing in everyone to do something. And already, the books aren't out yet. I've heard bullshit on Batman. I've heard yelling about the writer on Superman. I heard nothing about Wonder Woman. Good for that. Maybe that's going to be the book that breaks the mold for Wonder Woman for me. But I've heard already the book hasn't been released yet. And already people are shitting on Superman and shitting on Batman. They didn't even drop the first issues next month. Let the issue come out before you shit on it, people. Please. Please. I swear to God. Please. Relax yourselves. Now, also, I just realized I did not put up my haul video, which was from books from last week, yet. When this live show ends, I will be immediately uploading it. I'll have to figure out a thumbnail. So after this live show, within the next half hour, I look forward to the haul video. I just reminded myself because I'm watching Tiz talking about Give Me the Venom, and I'm like, yeah, there were a lot of Venom books that came out last. Oh, I didn't post a video, so I got to post that video up. But the haul videos are back on time. Most anticipated. I'm praying I could start before the end of this month. Dark Avenger Live. We're here. We've been live. We're consecutive. Tell your friends. Tell everyone. Monday nights, 9-10 p.m. Eastern. We are here. The reviews are, I need to do it soon because I've got 2 weeks worth already. I don't want to lose September as well. I do want to review some books from September and a few other books that have been coming out. I might actually do a prequel review, like a 0.5, just to cover everything I missed in the summer. But we'll see. Lots of stuff coming out. Stop saying the industry's dead. The industry is alive and kicking. We're doing good. A lot of books coming out. A lot of exciting stuff coming. A lot of exciting stuff going on right now. Go to your local comic shop and tell me I'm wrong. Go look at the books and tell me you don't get googly eyes over certain books. I have. As a matter of fact, I'm actually thinking of switching my Transformers and Void rivals to physical copies since I'm already getting G.I. Joe. Transformers has always been a passion of mine anyway. One twist to the digital comics Marvel has to put out recently that are only on Marvel Unlimited. Yeah, I talked about the only Unlimited. I would love to see them in print as well. I will not waste money on just digital. If they release a physical trade, I'll be there. If they don't release a physical trade, books that I missed out on reading, oh well, too bad. I mean, unless somehow, some way, somebody makes a video with the pages and does the digital turning for me, I really am. Plus, in the comic book industry is dying. Marvel's new Ultimate Universe wouldn't become exactly Marvel's new Ultimate Universe. That is literally only 6 issues in, 8 issues in for Spider-Man. Come on, if it was dying, we would not be seeing all these new books coming out, all this new stuff happening. And don't sit there and say, "Well, I said within the next 10 years or 20 years." No. First of all, you have no right to throw out a ridiculous number like 20 or even 10. That's ridiculous. If you have to say it's going to be 10 years, do you know all the shit that can happen between year 1 and year 10? The new 52 was literally only half of 10 years. Literally half. It was a 5-year long headache that I went through, okay? So if you're saying it's going to be a decade before it happens, how do you know it's not going to go the opposite way? How do you know that in a decade it won't get better? It won't go up higher. There won't be new companies. Huh? You can't sit there and say it's going to be 10 years. Anyone who goes beyond 2 years, which is always proven wrong, by the way, anyone who goes beyond 2 years, it's ridiculous. Don't listen to them. I wouldn't even entertain following that channel. But y'all do you. I will never tell you not to subscribe to somebody or don't subscribe to somebody. But me personally, if I go to a channel and they say within the next 10 years, I'm out. No subscribe, no follow, no looking anymore. This person already, I know where their content is marketed towards and why they're doing it. Views, hits, AdSense. I don't do that. This channel isn't about that garbage. This channel is about the truth. Talking about the truth, talking about the comics, the collectibles, the movies, TV, whatever I want to talk about, and giving an honest review of it. And honestly, everyone, for the 100 millionth time I've said in this video, the comic industry is not dying. That is the 100% honest truth. Not this year, not next year, not the year after that, not a decade from now, not 2 decades from now, not a century from now. It may go digital. We may not have any comic shops anymore, but it will never fully die. That's like saying TV is going to go out. TV is going to die. No, I'm looking right at my TV. It ain't dead. Movies are going pretty damn good, and so are TV shows. It's a staple in pop culture. It ain't dying. If it dies, music, TV, movies, everything else has the potential to die as well. Let me put it to you that way. So we ain't going nowhere. We will all grow old together on YouTube. The next generation of comic reviewers will grow up on YouTube. We will fade away into the obscurities of infinity and beyond in the afterlife. And that community will grow up and become the older generation. And then yet again, another new generation will come up. And the generation behind us will join us into the infinity and beyond. And it will be a cycle. And it will cycle and cycle and cycle and cycle. The beauty of the internet is we have this. Videos, live streams, everything. It ain't going anywhere. Not as long as we're all here. I will never. TV might get an upgrade. I do agree. TV might get an upgrade. We're not going anywhere. Promise you. I'm not going anywhere. I will be here until I am 90 years old in front of a camera talking about the books, speaking about the past, present, future, all of it. Because this is my passion. And I'm going to grow old enjoying my passion with all of you. And watching the newer generation come up and take over when I'm too old to do videos anymore, and passing the baton over to them. But that ain't anytime soon. I ain't that old. It's going to be a very, 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 very long time before I hang up my video making camera, so to speak. I've gone on way too long about this. I'm going to end this live show before I lose my voice, get sicker. Don't want to do that. I want to be healthy so that I can make more videos for all of you. Like I said, whole video will be up within the next half hour. I'm going to immediately upload and post it. We'll be caught up with those. Tiz, if you want to see Venom books, there's a couple in there. There's a couple in the whole video from yesterday if you want to check that out. I got an unboxing that's going to be coming up soon. I've got most anticipated. I want to get out sometime before the end of this month. And I've got next week Dark Avenger Live, of course. And I've got a couple other videos I'm going to sprinkle here, there, and everywhere. I've got some stuff from Dynamic Forces. I'm going to just throw that out there. I found Dynamic Forces. It's a problem. I found a new place to find special comics. And I may have made a couple of orders. And I'm going to do an unboxing of the stuff I got from Dynamic Force. It is my new little addiction to check that site because every day they do a new deal. And so far, I found a couple of good ones. I will be finding more, and there will be more in the future. So Dynamic Forces, if you're watching and you want to sponsor me, I'm always down. I am the Dark Avenger, and I will see all of you next week as always. Links in the Dark Knight, Black Knight. I am so sorry I missed you. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here for this live show. I love all of you so much. I'll see you all soon. Till then, take care. Keep reading. If you haven't been reading, go check out a book. Keep collecting if you want. If you're thinking about collecting, go do it. And I will see all of you, beautiful people, in the next video. And if you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to be rating one of my friends in a second once this show ends. So take care, everybody.